Hi YouTube. Welcome to the Click of Reddit channel. In this video we will talk about what is really happening in the city of Wuhan, where the epidemic of a new coronavirus started. This report is a translation of the only Chinese journalist who visited all the most dangerous places in the city. Further, the continuation of the story with his words. Hi everyone. I am Chen Kyushi. I've experienced so much since coming to Wuhan. It's the 6th day since I've arrived. My name has completely become a blacklist keyword. Anything with the 3 words Chen Kyushi or my face is blocked on WeChat. I've already had a lot of people tell me that sharing my Wuhan-related videos will lead to account suspension. Because I admit, recently on WeChat there are many rumors going around. So I advise you to just watch my video here. I don't recommend you to try to share it on WeChat. If you try you will get your account suspended. I've already got one of my accounts suspended and lost contact with a lot of people. Today is the 30th, let's talk about my experiences from the past couple of days. During the first 2 days, when I first arrived, I visited Wuhan Central Hospital last month on the 30th day of the lunar year. Then I went to Wuhan number 11 hospital, twice. I went to a supermarket in Wuhan, went to donate some supplies with volunteers to Shi Hospital, went to Huoshenshan construction site. This is a while back. Yesterday, on the 29th, I went first to Wuhan number 5 hospital, the legendary one where so many medical staff collapsed. But I couldn't. It was impossible to directly ask the doctors, did you have colleagues that collapsed? They were also very busy, and there was no way I would have been able to interview the directors of the hospital. The doctors and the directors would not have accepted an interview because I heard the news is that all the medical staff in Wuhan received notice that they are not allowed to take interviews. Even to the point where some hospitals, the doctors have to turn in their cell phones so they can't share any information. So now we know, the 8 people who were arrested initially seemed like they were all doctors. They were discussing this epidemic in their work-related WeChat group. A few days ago, did not I make a video where I said the local civilian groups were like a sheet of loose sand in a state of disunity? Soon they came to slap my face. Some civilian groups already contacted me. Some were driving medical staff around for their commute to work. Some were responsible to transport and unload shipments because supplies were being sent in from all over the country. They were responsible for unloading supplies from trucks and then delivering them to hospitals. So these are the volunteer groups. I added them on WeChat and they asked me to go participate in their activities. But I could see their work was also very stressful, lots to complain about. It's not easy for them. The Chinese public don't trust the Red Cross, so they sent small packages to the hospitals here. When I went to the hospital, I could see so many piles of packages sitting there. But in reality these small packages are really inefficient. Think about it. Hospitals have to arrange for people to open the packages. There are masks and protective gowns of all sizes, types, and qualities. They have to resort them by type, re-inspect them, and figure out what goes where and what to do with them. The best method is if they can do a commercial org-to-org shipment with a big load of supplies shipped directly to the hospital. This is the best scenario. So these volunteers were helping with these things. Like I said, I went to visit the people at the Huoshenshan hospital construction site. They are so overworked. Construction workers are taking 2 to 3 shifts, non-stop work for 24 hours. The mid to entry level managers, unlike the workers who can still take shifts, basically don't have time to rest. When one saw us, he had red eyes and a hoarse voice and said, I don't have any time to mind you. Leave the masks and do whatever you want. If you want to see the construction site, go ahead. I haven't been home for 3 days, I've gotten 2 to 3 hours of sleep every night. And the brother that brought me to the site, he works locally in construction. He knows a lot of people in the construction circles. The foreman said, we all are Wuhan locals. If we die from exhaustion here, we might as well be martyrs. In this life, if I can do something good for Wuhan, I accept my fate. I am answer a dumbest question. Why can't you convert an existing hotel to a hospital? Because a hospital for infectious disease needs to be clearly separated into a red zone, yellow zone, and green zone. You can't even allow air to escape from places that hold the infected patients, so people who really are infected can't possibly live in a regular hotel. They can be used to separate the suspected cases. So for example, the 200-some people that went back to Japan have been quarantined at a hotel. But the hospital they want to build now is under negative pressure. That is, the pressure inside needs to be lower than the pressure outside. Air can only go in, not out. And there is a special drainage system that makes sure all contaminated air, water, aren't released outside. So that's what they are building in just these few days, fighting against time. I don't even know if there is going to be any construction accidents at the Huo-Shenshan hospital. Because so many different construction companies are working together with such strict requirements at such high speeds. It is difficult to avoid hiccups and accidents. Yesterday afternoon, I went to number 5 hospital. This is where I first realized I was scared. At the entrance, there were a lot of oxygen tanks, labeled with "filled with oxygen, caution." Inside, people were lounging on the waiting room chairs. They added beds in the hallways. They even added beds in front of the bathroom. 60 to 70% of the people were inhaling oxygen. Some even were breathing high-pressure oxygen with masks, forcing it in. If that guy didn't have pneumonia, why is he using the high-pressure oxygen? So I went with the patient to the hospital. His little brother also went with him. He said, "If it weren't for my accompanying my older brother, I wouldn't dare to come here. Kyushi, why aren't you afraid to come here?" So we had to disinfect our whole bodies when we went in, and then once again when we exited. I met a man in his 40s who was on the verge of breaking down in front of me and crying. He said he had cough and fever for a whole week. My younger brother has a fever, so does my mother-in-law. A few days before the lockdown, I went and ate a meal with my whole extended family. I went to my mother-in-law's house and ate a meal with them, too. I played mahjong with my old classmates. I was in contact with a dozen people. If I'm confirmed, what will happen to those a dozen people? My whole family is done for. This is what that patient told me in person. Sorry, my thoughts are somewhat scattered because I'm now starting to become very afraid. I definitely know to be afraid now. Because the locals who aren't that worried that they are sick basically won't go to the hospital. There is no one on the streets. The locals are very afraid. I'm very envious of those CCTV folks. CCTV even filmed inside Jinjintan Hospital in the infected area. But even their filming is safer than mine. They had full hazmat suits. Jinjintan is separated into green, yellow, and red zones. The red zone is probably infected zone. Yellow is probably a danger zone. The green zone is the safest. They were wearing the suits in the green zone, using a phone to video chat the patients to conduct the interviews. How dangerous is that? I'm just going to the clinic. I couldn't get into the areas with the inpatients. Impossible to get in. Impossible to interview the local experts or officials. But exactly how many people at the clinic have the disease and is infected? Who knows? All the doctors were in full protection suits. I only have glasses, 2 masks, and my coat. Every day when I come home I have to disinfect the coat. I leave my coat hanging at the door, I don't even dare bring it in. I stink of disinfectant. No one dares to go on site. I am only telling you what I saw. I only tell what patient's family told me in person. Not enough masks, no enough protective gowns, not enough supplies, most importantly, not enough test kits. No test kit, no way to diagnose. You can only quarantine yourself at home. When you do have a test kit, you still need a bed. You have a bed, you still need doctors. You can't have a row of people laying on beds without doctors. What good does that do? Still need doctors. So this problem is still very serious, so many problems have not been solved. I will try my best to regain composure. The Department of Justice called me again. The Qingdao police station also called me. They asked me where I was, told me to go home to cooperate with an investigation. I said I am in Wuhan. They said, "What are you doing in Wuhan?" I said, "If you don't even know I'm here, why are you looking for me? To cooperate for what?" They asked, "Where are you staying?" I said at my friend's house. Then they went and talked to my parents yesterday or the day before. My mom said, "Am I not more worried about him than you are? Do I not wish more than you that he will come back?" Honestly, I am afraid. In front of me is the virus. Behind me is the Chinese law and administration. But I will regain my composure. As long as I'm still alive in this city, I will continue to report. I am only going to speak about what I see and hear. You fucking cunts. I'm not even afraid of death. Would I be afraid of your Communist Party? This guy may be arrested at any point. As of Jan 31, he made a Twitter post, so still okay. He is risking his life. Please spread his work. Also, be sure to rate this video and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.